Welcome to the 6 o'clock HBR News Reporting Live. I'm Rebecca Lee.
And I'm Benjamin Shaw.
First on the headlines today, the civil war between the Sri Lankan government and the Tamil Tigers that lasted over 25 years claims to be finally over, after the leader of the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam was finally killed in northern provinces of Sri Lanka. Prabhakaran was the supreme leader of the LTTE, which arose a vicious 25-year war between the Tamil Tigers and the Sinhalese people. In his last moments, he was hunted by the Sri Lankan army for months, even though it is said that he might have escaped to an external place. However, by the end, he was pinpointed to his core group of 250 people and was killed in Mulabakai, a piece of land on the northeastern coast of Sri Lanka, a place not far from where he began.
The two opposing parties of the war are the Sinhalese Buddhists, taking up 74.9% of the population, and the Tamil Hindus, 11.7%. The majority of Sri Lanka's population, the Sinhalese, resides in the central and southwestern part of the island, and the Tamil Hindus in the northeastern part of Sri Lanka. A small group of Indian Tamils also resides in the center of the Sinhalese population, as shown on the map. This is because during the British colonization of Sri Lanka, which was then called Ceylon, Indian Tamil workers were brought into Ceylon to work into coffee, tea, and coconut plantations which are located in central Sri Lanka. For Tamil Hindus, sacrifices and religious teachings are often held in Hindu temples. The Nalakandaswamy temple is one of the most religious among the Hindu Tamil community located in the Jaffna Peninsula. For the Sinhalese Buddhists, temples are a place for meditation and prayers. The Kelaniya temple, a temple of rich history and still a place of worship, is located only a few miles out of Colombo. The Sri Lankan Civil War commenced in 1983 with the First Eelam War and lasted for 25 years until 2009. This bloody civil war caused tens of thousands of deaths. In 1987, there was a peace talk amongst Sri Lanka and the Indian government, and thus existed a short period of time without a ceasefire. However, the peace talk was unsuccessful and the Indian army faced heavy casualties and was forced out of Sri Lanka. In 2001 to 2006, there was another period of peace, as LTT was willingly suggesting peace due to international pressure and when peace talks were attempted but failed again. The war finally ended in 2009 with the death of the LTT Supremo, Prabhakaran.
There are two main causes to this deadly civil war. First, not only did the British bribe foreign workers to Sri Lanka, also known as Ceylon, they also had new policies on local representation, which caused disruptions between the two local ethnic groups. The British required a communal representation in the Ceylon National Congress. This position have alternated between the Sinhalese and the Tamil leaders and resulted in disputes on whether which group should represent both in this National Congress. In addition to economic benefits of colonization, the Tamils were also more friendly towards educational and religious approaches, drawing closer ties between the Tamils and the British. The class model states current hostility is greatly affected by past history, even there are times of peace. Connecting to the class model, Sri Lanka's past colonial history have greatly caused the hostility, the civil war, through favoritism towards the Tamils, therefore granting more status and power to the Tamils and threatening the Sinhalese population as the majority of Sri Lanka. The second cause is, after gaining independence from the British in 1948, the Sinhalese took government control. Fearing that the Tamils would eventually take over, the Sinhalese enacted the Ceylon Citizenship Act and the Sinhalese Only Bill. In other words, make it impossible for the Tamils to gain citizenship and gain jobs as government officials and university admission. The unfavorable discrimination the Tamils received caused the community to become upset and angry. As the class model states, an inequality of power between ethnic groups can lead to conflict. The critically inequality of power between the Sinhalese and the Tamils led to the uprising of the weaker minority group. In the Sri Lankan war, there are three main evident geographic patterns. First, as riots and arrests set out, eventually turning into battles, and in later war. Most of the battles took place in northern provinces of Sri Lanka, where the Tamils reside and where headquarters of the military and political bases are located, as shown on the map. The Sinhalese originally resided in the northeastern regions of Sri Lanka as well. However, after the battle exacerbated, the Tamils drove out the Sinhalese population and claimed the northeastern region as theirs. Connecting to our class models, the individual ethnic groups, in this case the Tamils, are clustered in the region where the ethnic conflict took place.
The second visible geographic pattern is the scarce number of Tamils in the capital city, Colombo, and the major cities such as Kandy and Negombo. As a result, the Tamils do not have much direct influence on laws and policies of the government in comparison to the overwhelming number of the population, the Sinhalese. This directly relates to our geographic pattern in class model number 8. The less powerful ethnic group has less of a presence in large cities or capital cities.
Hi, I'm currently out here in Sri Lanka Safe Zone. These Sri Lanka Safe Zones are located in a town called Mulatapu and were created in 2009 by the Sri Lankan government in order to ensure for their civilian safety. In the safe zones, the healthcare facilities and the shelters were provided. The so-called safe zones were heavily air-raided last Monday. Both sides denied violating the safe zones. However, Sri Lanka's government officials had inconsistent statements in reply to the UN's accusation of shelling the two safe zones. Although no official number of casualties were reported, it was estimated that around 250,000 civilians were killed during the bombing. Osang Han reporting live in Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Reporter Han, for a live report. As shown in the footages, safe zones were designated. However, these zones were bombed. Connecting to our class model, the usage of safe zones in places often spurs violence. In 1987, the Indian government and Sri Lanka reached a ceasefire agreement. However, violence broke out only months after the agreement was signed. The Indian peacekeeping force faced heavy casualties and withdrew from Sri Lanka only 3 years after the battle, leaving Sri Lanka with an unsolved conflict. Despite all the attempted peace talks and agreements, the war ended with the death of Prabhakaran, the supreme leader of the LTTE, along with the official surrender of the Tamil Tigers.
The three solutions that our class model offers are: first, partition states often create a temporary solution to the ethnic or religious conflict. Second, a third-party state often involves itself in the resolution of the ethnic or religious conflict. And third, ethnic minorities often gain some degree of autonomy by the land ceded over by the majority. However, the death of Prabhakaran does not relate to any of our class models. Despite all the attempted peace talks and temporary peace treaties with third-party involvement and the LTT's desire of autonomy through war, the war only ended after the total defeat of the Tamil Tigers. Thank you for tuning in to the 6 o'clock HBR News. I'm Rebecca Lee.
And I'm Benjamin Shaw. We will see you next time.